It's the Nostalgia Show, and we are going to be talking about hula hoops. Travel back in time with me as we rediscover America's funnest toy. The hula hoop is a toy hoop that is twirled around the waist, limbs, or neck. I don't think I've ever done it around the neck. Have you done it around the neck? I feel like I'd be going to the chiropractor. I'd be like, look at me, I'm cool. And then I'd be like, "Grr." They have been used by children and adults since at least 500 BC. Now, when I hear that, I think I cannot imagine people in like biblical clothes being like, "Come over here and do the hula hoop." I just cannot see it. I feel like they would get in so much trouble. They'd be like, "What are you doing with this wild hoop?" The modern hula hoop was inspired by Australian bamboo hoops. The new plastic version was popularized in 1958 by a Whammo toy company and became a fad. I think that's the coolest name, Whammo. I don't know that anybody would come up with a name like that today. Hula hoops for children generally measure approximately 70 centimeters, that's like 28 inches in diameter, while those adults measure around 100 centimeters, 39 inches. Traditional materials for hoops include willow, rattan, a flexible and strong vine, grapevines, and stiff grasses. I feel like we need to bring back like the natural hula hoop. Like I need to go out into nature and gather up stiff grasses and then sell my hoops at the local farmers market. Hey, who's with me? Commercial hoops are made of plastic tubing. Plastic is like the big no-no. I am a huge Shark Tank fan and Dragon's Den. You'll thank me later for that reference. And on there, they're always coming up with things that are like plastic alternatives. So they'll have like straws that are made out of spaghetti or made out of bamboo. So, who is with me that we need to make a bamboo hula hoops? Okay, we will be rich. You heard it here first. Origins. Now, the Native American hoop dance is a form of storytelling dance incorporating hoops as props. And these props are used to create both static and dynamic shapes, which represent various animals, symbols, and storytelling elements. The dance is generally performed by a solo dancer with multiple hoops. It sounds beautiful. Before it was known and recognized as the common colorful plastic toy, and sometimes filled with water or sand, the traditional hula hoop, according to the encyclopedia, was made of dried willow, rattan, grapevines, or stiff grasses. And though they have been in existence for thousands of years, it is often inaccurately believed they were invented in the 50s. I thought it was invented. Now, I used to work at a plantation reenacting things, and we had a hoops game that really wasn't so similar, but it makes me think of that. Author Charles Panatti records a craze with the usage of wooden and metal hoops in the 14th century in England. Oh my gosh, I'm so tempted to do an English accent, but I know we have listeners from England, so please write in the comments, thank you, that I don't. He reports that doctors treated patients with pain, dislocated backs, and even heart failure due to hooping. Oh, wow. Girls and boys, do not go out hooping tonight, okay? All right, I don't want to hear about it. Panatti also says that the name hula came from the Hawaiian dance in the 18th century due to the similar hip movements. Okay, that I can see. Who has done the hula dance? Have you been to Hawaii and done the hula dance? Let me know in the comments so we can cheer you on. Now, the hula hoop gained international popularities in the 50s when a plastic version was successfully marketed by California's Whammo, I just want to say that, toy company. Cane hoops have been popular children's toys to be rolled on the ground, right, and kept balanced as long as possible. That's what the game that I did in the 1800s house. In 1957, children in the Norwegian town of Steinkjer began a fad described in the English press as a rock rings, with the description being, "These are huge cane rings which little girls swing around their bodies by moving their hips and arms." Sounds like hula hoops. On August 7th, news items described the origin as children buying cane rings after seeing ring jugglers at a circus that visited the town, and added it wasn't long before most of the children in the town had caught the wiggle rock craze, and now it's all over Norway. Did you guys ever get the wiggle rock craze? Let me know in the comments. In the same summer, schoolgirls in Australia were using the hoops, and news came to the United States with the first reference to the toy as hula hoop, described as all the rage among the female small fry of Australia. Small fry. I don't know if I'd like to be calling a small fry. Hey, you small fry. I've always been tall, so I've never been called small fry. This is old-fashioned hoops with a difference. You don't roll them. You put them around your middle and swing the hips in a circular motion to keep the hoop revolving, hence the name. I don't know. What do you guys think if there would be like an aerobics class? Do people do this? That would have you doing like what was it? Zumba was so popular a few years ago, and it'd be like the hula hoop exercise class. I mean, I think it'd be popular. I will not try it on the channel. Joan Anderson brought back a bamboo exercise hoop from Australia. Okay, so they're exercising, perhaps independently, came up with the name hula hoop at the dinner party. And her husband showed it to Arthur Spud Mellon, and they agreed on a gentleman's handshake that they would share in any profits. The company cut her out, and they got nothing. Terrible. Now, have you ever done a gentleman's handshake? What about us? What about gentle ladies? Do you ever do things like that today? Let me know in the comments if that's still something that you might do. Now, Richard Kinnair and Arthur Spud Mellon of Whammo manufactured 42-inch diameter hoops from Marlex plastic. The earliest known advertisement was seen for the hula hoop by Whammo in 1958 for the Broadway chain of department stores in LA for sale for $198. It's interesting, I feel like today you could get one similarly priced. So why was it so expensive back then? Or why is it so cheap now? Equivalent to more than $20 more than 60 years later. I would never pay $60 for a hula hoop today. With giveaways, national marketing and retailer, a fad began in July 1958. 25 million plastic hoops were sold in less than 4 months, and sales reached more than 100 million units in 2 years. The hula hoop craze swept the world and fizzled out more in the 80s, except in China and Russia, where hula hooping and hoop manipulation, they say, were adopted by traditional circuses and rhythmic gymnasts. So I have to say, I do think that hula hoops still do put a smile on my face. When we go to the store, you cannot see a hula hoop and just not get a little bit of a smile. Kind of want to try it. I've never been able to keep the hula hoop up very long. Please tell me in the comments if you've been able to keep it up over like 10 seconds, because I will cheer you on. This is Hearth and Home Nostalgia. You have been listening to The Nostalgia Show. Please go ahead and subscribe, and we thank you for tuning in.